It is a wartime mystery. Who were these nurses, many volunteers, who came to work at a country house hospital when the call went out to help the wounded returning from the Western Front? Rest Park in Bedfordshire was the stately home that was turned into a hospital in 1914, then the first building of its kind to do this. But mainly due to a fire, no formal records exist of the women who treated the wounded here. So now some original photographs have been transformed into colour in a bid to identify the women. In many cases, there are just names. This is Sister Warner taking medicines from the dispensary set up at the stately home. On the left here is Nurse Coburn with a patient in a nurse's outfit. And smiling here on the right is Nurse Wilcox. Like her colleague, she was a volunteer. So while it's known that this is Nurse Given and Staff Sister Wiley, English Heritage says it's only right we find out more about them.
It just seems to be such a shame we don't know the human stories behind all those faces and behind the activities of the hospital that we know so much about.
And these women were doing an extraordinary job, weren't they?
They were. I mean, and they were doing it without much training in many cases. So they were, you know, sort of, it was their contribution to the war effort just as much as the men who went out and served in the trenches in France.
May Mann worked at the house during the war. It's thought she drove ambulances. Her great-nephew says it's important the women are not forgotten.
If you look at the pictures, you know, they're all lovely young people, you know, they're all neat and tidy, and, you know, we should perhaps see them as a kind of example, perhaps. We don't have to face the horrors of the Great War, but we've got other challenges nowadays.
More than 100 women, many of them who had no medical training but learned on the job, came to Rest Park to help. Like Nurse Filburn, none would have done it for the glory. But more than a century on, they deserve to be more than just a face on a picture. Nina Nanar, ITV News in Bedfordshire.